Ooh, a Scyther. Definitely need to catch this. Okay. Alright. Needs a little bit farther. Okay. Let's give this another shot. Let's see here. Wait. What the? Why is the Pokeball stuck? Wait, I can't move the Pokeball. Oh, game's glitching again. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Pokemon Go. I apologize for about the delay of this particular episode. Been having some technical software and hardware issues lately, and I had to spend some time tinkering with them and recalibrating and whatnot. I'm going to try to crank out as many episodes as I have because many of them have been recorded and they just really need more of my time to finish editing. This particular episode is about things that I've learned part 2, and I'm going to show you guys of the variety of Pokemons that I've caught up to that point, as well as exploring certain key locations that other Poke trainers have discussed that they had success of catching either specific types of Pokemons or more variety. And as you can see here right now, the CP levels are definitely low, but there is a bit of variety now compared to where I initially started. I have this Pidgeotto that I plan to evolve at this point. I always believe that because Stardust is so much, you get such a greater amount of Stardust every time you catch a Pokemon compared to Candy. In my opinion, sometimes it's easier to evolve first and then level up. And in this situation, I've decided, I want to fill in my Pokedex now. And with the opportunity that I have, why not just evolve and fill in that information? And where is the Pidgeot? What? Why is it up there? Glitch again. So this game is definitely glitchy. They have certain issues. And as you can see here, I have some spare candies to use, so why not level a little bit? CP level is definitely low relative to Pokemon Trainers level, and it's just still a lot of Stardust to burn through, and I just felt like I needed at least one Pokemon prep to kind of have a gym battle. The other Pokemon, the next one that I evolved after the Pidgeotto was Eevee, and at first I didn't know about the Easter egg. I will discuss that in a later episode where I will show you guys how it works. So by random chance I got a Vaporeon out of it, which Vaporeon is actually one of the better gym battle Pokemons because it has a very good DPS rate. Especially with Water Gun and Water Pulse. I would like to see if it had like an ice move. These are my eggs, and you have to walk a certain distance for them. There's 2 kilometer, 5 kilometer, 10 kilometer, and I think there's one longer than 10 kilometer. But the longer the distance of the egg, the better Pokemon that the chances of getting. So 10 kilometers usually have more rare Pokemons or Pokemons you don't get to encounter very often. Reaching level 8, you get 2 new items, and one of them is the lure, which I've shown in the last episode, which can attract, if you put it at a Poke Station, it will attract Pokemons nearby for 30 minutes. The other one is a raspberry, and the raspberry is an item that you can use during your encounter with a wild Pokemon, and for every raspberry you give, the Pokemon is more than likely to accept being captured. And then this is my second egg. My first egg I got a Mankey out of it, but this is my second egg, and this was a Diglett, which surprisingly in my area it's very hard to find earth and rock type Pokemons, or I would say ground type. Bulbasaur on the other hand, it seems to be very common, or at least grass type Pokemons. This is, as you can see within the shrinking circle, around it. It's a orange color, which means the chances of capturing this is very low. And what I realized, unfortunately, is when you don't capture it, sometimes they don't like you enough and they'll run away. This is another egg that I hatched, and this is happily another rock Pokemon that I got. Very rare in the areas I live. My first time sighting a Squirtle, and I'm definitely wanted to test out how effective the raspberries are, and really wanted to capture this. Didn't really want to have the same repeat as the Bulbasaur, and luckily I got my first Squirtle. Unfortunately, Squirtle doesn't pop up very often for me. Once in a while. This is Rocky Point, and I read that it could be a potentially very diverse area, and I was able to catch many different types of Pokemons. Shelder, for one, is definitely one of the Pokemons that I found in this location. I encountered at least 2-3 times. I would say that Magikarp is probably the most common one that you definitely will see around this area. The only downside is there's not a lot of Poke Stations, there's quite a lot of distance. I hatched my third egg here while I was walking around, and it anticlimatically happens to be a Magikarp with very low CP. So I transferred this right off the bat to get one candy back. On the radar it said there was Electabuzz, but I never encountered it. Tentacool is another Pokemon that I encountered in this area. So it seems like Rocky Point is fairly diverse. Doesn't seem to be very like just Pidgey and Rattata. So luckily I was able to catch a variety of water Pokemons. Not so much rock or any other type, mostly water, which, you know, living in a coastal city happens like this. Encountered my first Psyduck. I definitely wanted to add it to the Pokedex, and Psyduck was always one of my favorite Pokemons because of its ability to have some of the more powerful psychic attacks along with some of the powerful water attacks. And Golduck, to me, is one of the more preferred Pokemons you want to have in your lineup. Horsey was another Pokemon that I encountered in the region. Fairly diverse, I would say. Water Pokemons this whole time. I don't know how that Pokeball just slipped over its head and didn't make contact. But when I saw it, I was like, okay, this game is just messed up. Because sometimes I feel like Pokemon's either really far or Pokemon's are really close, but it's very difficult to know that depth perception until you throw the Pokeball. More Magikarps in the location, so fairly easy to farm some of the Magikarps. I stepped into a parking lot of a restaurant, and this is where I found my first Ghost Pokemon, which was a Ghastly. And it was also my first throw within the shrinking circle. So it gives me, as the circle shrinks even more, you go from good throw, excellent, you go from good, great, and I think excellent throws, and you get extra XP every time you catch, if you throw your Pokeball within the shrinking circle. And so for every new Pokemon you get extra 500 XP. For every good throw, great throw, you get 50 XP, and then I forgot the rest, the excellent throws and whatnot. They're pretty tough, you have to time it pretty well. So in conclusion, Rocky Point is not the most ideal location, I would say. You definitely can find a wide array of Pokemons here. However, Poke Stations are too spread out far, and then the Courtney Campbell Causeway has usually heavy traffic. So best time is early morning to come and do your capturing, but there probably are better locations than here. Bulbasaur again. I just didn't want to miss out on opportunities with Bulbasaur. I did notice that it was a orange ring around it, so catching it would be a low rate. Luckily it didn't run away, so I immediately used a raspberry on it to increase my chances of capturing it and decrease its chances of wanting to run away as well. I tried to spin the ball at that point, didn't do that well, and I said, alright, let's go back to doing a regular throw. Luckily, I captured it and didn't have any issues. I did realize that some of the Pokemons do have different move sets, and this one in particular had Sludge Bomb. Starmie was another one that I started noticing here and there, and it was one of those that I just needed to add to the Pokedex. I had already added it, but this one's CP level was a little bit low. Bulbasaur again, so definitely within my neighborhood there's Bulbasaurs, very common left and right. And luckily this one I didn't even have to use a raspberry. I was able to capture it just fine. This is going to be a short, quick episode. Next episode I think will be a major one, and I hope you guys stay tuned for that one as well. And thanks for watching.